So I would like you to shortly talk and present a bit Lace, the company you're working on right now, that is specialized
Mm,
in sneakers,
mm.
as well as also explaining your role as a VP of marketing. What do you do in a daily basis?
So yeah, I work at Lace. It's a sneakers marketplace for buyers and sellers to connect and exchange their passion for sneakers. And basically, the way the company works is that we, as the middleman, come into the process in the middle to authenticate the trainers that come through to us to make sure that the buyers are getting the pairs that they bought. um, there's still a lot of counterfeit and fake out there, when you go to like more traditional marketplace that have existed for a long time, where those checks are not done, and the market of sneakers has exploded in the past few years. So there's even more of a need to come. Yeah, so basically at the core, obviously my role is to look after marketing and all the marketing channel that we're using right now to expand the company and grow every month. But on top of that, looking after all the aspect of the company, so like the operational side, customer support. That's how I started in marketing. But I joined Deliveroo at the fairly early stage, pre-Series C, where the company was still fairly startup-y. It felt still like a startup. Um, so that was really exciting, and like doing my time there and seeing it grow the way it grew, and the way that marketplace worked. Me, like the adrenaline boost, I think. And then I also joined Depop. That was my previous role, so entering the fashion and secondhand fashion industry. That was really great, also from the marketplace point of view, but also because it was very close to something that I'm really into. My studies, I actually didn't study marketing. That's kind of the things I'm talking about a lot when I talk outside on like podcasts and things like that. But I actually studied engineering, industrial engineering, and computer science. So that was like a completely different world, very industrial world, and engineering. So and quickly realizing that I was not gonna fit into that for all my life. Like I couldn't really I couldn't really see myself doing it for like 40
Let's see.
years or something.
About Laced, that it's let's say it's focused on the sneakers market, and the market, as you said before, it's booming. The value is huge. Do you think that it's only a trend? It's something that will increase more and more? And in your opinion, will this evolve in some sense? There will be like categories that are more preferred than others.
The sneaker industry is definitely booming. So the big players starting in 2015 in the US, most of them are American. That's kind of the status today, which we're trying to challenge at least. That's kind of the reason why we're here. We want to give like a better service for Europe in
Sure.
terms of sneakers, and in a market that's growing. But I think the estimation of the sneaker industry are still big, and they're projected to grow into like several billions in Europe only. But I think the estimations are still early stage, and they could be um, actually bigger than what people have been projecting.
And I follow you on LinkedIn, and I have to say that
Nice.
you're quite famous on LinkedIn. You have huge numbers. Yes, you have
No,
it.
no.
Do you like LinkedIn? And do you think that a good use of LinkedIn can be useful in terms of opportunities, or how
Mm,
LinkedIn can help people, especially maybe startuppers or young people?
I really love LinkedIn. I think I think I think it's amazing because it's one of the last platform where you can still get organic reach
Okay.
for free. Uh, they might change it tomorrow, and then what I'm saying is not true anymore. But up until this point today, if someone that follows you likes or comments on your post, it's very likely that most of these network or our network will see your
Okay.
post, so you can get some viral effect on what you're talking about.
What did you like of the working life in a startup? Because it's very dynamic, as we said. You
Mm,
work in a, you have a lot of things going on. You have hands
mm,
on a lot of things. So how do you
mm.
define to work in a small and young business? And which are the most attractive dynamics for you?
In like impact
Okay.
on a business, there is some excitement coming out of not having millions of teams and millions of decision makers to go through to be able to do something and get and see the impact in like 24 hours. There is a shift at some point in companies, and I've seen it a couple of times for myself. So at Deliveroo and at Depop,
Mm-hmm.
where a company gets to a certain size, it's almost like on the recruitment side, the people that you attract is different, because people coming out at a later stage in a company would have, I think, a slightly different type of profile, which suits better for bigger teams, longer decision process and decision making process.
And about Gen Z, that it's kind of a hot topic right now.
Mm,
What do you think about that, and how do you think that it's possible to communicate in an efficient way to this
mm.
new generation of customers that seems so impossible to, or it's so complicated, let's say, so different from the others?
Yeah, well, I don't know if maybe not complicated, but definitely
Different.
yes, very different because so I'm not Gen Z, obviously. I'm a millennial. I come from the in between phase, like before and after the internet, which I think has a lot of plus to have seen both. But the Gen Zs are really embedded into the technology, into smartphones, into social media. That's something that I experimented a lot at Depop. Our marketing message, very community first.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the way I can summarize it is really to give the message and the voice back to the people, back to the community. Advertising today for Gen Z is still very, it's not adapted to the message for them. It's too branded.
Okay.
And I think
It's too
the
far.
new generation has
And
kind of it's
uh,
yeah, it's too far from them, and it's so easy to skip. Like you can swipe, you can skip, whatever channel you're on. Like it takes a quarter of a second for someone to just go past your ad. But it's very important that you think about how can you tap into the community of whatever your business is doing and give those people the voice to say what they want to say. And I think that's a good way to go about it. And it's nice because you're giving people the chance to express themselves.
will be a kind of new form of marketing, like an evolution
Mm,
of marketing. And have you seen recently maybe a trend that
mm.
reflect this new form?
Yeah, I think so with channels like TikTok
Mm.
and Instagram following or leading a lot of these changes. But I think there's an evolution of branded content with influencers that's becoming very very interesting. So live streaming and being able to sell or promote your brand in a live streaming session. So
Mm-hmm.
um, TikTok has recently announced their partnership with Shopify. So I think you're
Oh,
gonna start seeing some integrated products within videos that are clickable. Yeah, I think the categories on Twitch are developing like it's not just about gaming anymore. You've got different subcategory that are developing, and I think sneakers is one of them. Fashion would be one of them. And I think the other big thing that's going to come in the next few years, and it's definitely starting to make an impact, is voice. Like voice in marketing is
A voice? You
going to
mean
be one
voice?
more. Yeah,
In which
yeah,
way?
yeah. So voice. So in which way? In a way that people are talking to Google Home or Alexa a lot more. And I think the adoption of this will create um, a lot of problems, but also a lot of evolution for brands to be relevant. Because basically, the main thing will be that today, if you want to look for um, a pair of I don't know, a particular product. I don't want to give a too direct example, but you will Google what is the best. But in the future, you would just ask Alexa,
Yes.
I want to buy ketchup, and like basically, I don't know. That's the first example that came to my mind. If you want to buy ketchup, like you want to, Alexa or Google, for example, their product will like select. You won't have a bunch of results. It will be only one result. They think is best for you, but what they think is best for them. So Amazon will control a lot of those commands, and their product will be easily at the top. Um, that's why it's important. It's still important to think about things like SEO in the sense of being the first to come in the search results, because that first search results is going to be the only search results that Google is going to tell you when you do a voice command.
I will see, like, I will listen the first like result, but maybe it's not what I am really interested in, and I ask
Mm.
something more, other solutions. But then it's different because one thing is reading, another is listening all the options.
Yeah,
So for sure, to be the first.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of branding, is very important to build your brand now, because when only one result will matter, it's important that your brand is the number one brand that comes up. I think the fun fact is around the fact that for the Facebook platform for advertising is so advanced that I find it fascinating that in a lot of companies, the person running Facebook ads will generally be like very young, like in their 20s, maybe early 20s. And the amount of power that that person has can create some very interesting situation. Because when I was at Deliveroo, I think for a few days, maybe up to a week, we were running an ad in Italy
Uh-huh.
that was showing burgers, saying that it was like the best you could get from Deliveroo in Italy, and that we had like quite a backlash from Italian people, uh, not being not being like the type of food that they wanted to see. Like it's kind of a cliche, but we had like the pizzas and the pastas in Italy, and like burgers in like other markets and stuff. So
They
that
say,
was quite a that was a realization, like looking at the comments after a few days, we're like, oh shit, what did we do? Like that's not good.